Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra spoiler review. It's time, Leona is finally here and she's bringing with her a bunch of other cards to take a look at, but before we do, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. Lots of you are watching that are indeed not subscribed, so please take the few seconds, click the subscribe button, help the channel grow. If you like what I'm doing, that is really appreciated. And let me briefly tell you about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN, one of the leading virtual private network providers out there. A virtual private network keeps your data secure and yourself anonymous while using the internet. NordVPN comes with super fast servers, allows you to unlock your favorite entertainment websites like Netflix. They provide a 30-day money-back guarantee. They also have an included cybersecurity suite, which acts as an ad blocker to boot. They don't lock any of your data, provide a 24/7 customer support, and you can use it on up to 6 simultaneous connections, so one account covers most or all of your electronic devices. And most importantly, they don't have any bandwidth limit, so you can use it non-stop without it getting throttled, which is particularly important for heavy users like us. It also won multiple awards and comes highly recommended by top technology experts. So if you're still surfing online without a VPN, now is the time to change that. Get NordVPN now, 70% off for a 3-year plan, including 1 month extra for free using the code ManuS or the personalized link in the description down below. And now on to today's content. Alright, there we go. It's Leona time. First off, Leona actually turned out a bit cheaper than I thought. Like I guessed somewhere between 5 and 6 and thought 5 or 6 is more likely. But in fact, we're getting a 4-drop, which is kind of nice, but also a bit surprising given that the only 2 Targon Champions we've seen so far are both 4-drops, which is why I expected her to be less likely a 4-drop, but she's a 4-drop indeed. Nothing wrong with that. She's a 4-cost 3/5, so the stats are a bit so-so, like they're alright. Nothing too special, but if you play her with Daybreak, she stuns the strongest enemy, so she's kind of like a in a way worse Twisted Fate on the front side when you play her. Of course she has much better stats, but she doesn't deal damage and doesn't come with all the utility. Maybe a bit weird way to compare her, but yeah, she's like kind of a big Arachnoid sentry or a worse Twisted Fate at face value. If you've activated Daybreak 4+ times, she levels up, so that means she also levels if not in play, which is pretty noteworthy, and the condition is actually not that high for the fact that she levels outside of play. And when she's leveled, she turns into a 4/6, and Daybreak, or when you activate another Daybreak, stun the strongest enemy unit. So it is technically possible to play her as a 4-cost 4/6 on 4 reasonably well if you go like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop with Daybreak, and then on turn 4 play Leona with Daybreak, and then she levels from her own Daybreak, which is pretty nice and kind of like the nut draw scenario for this type of deck probably, and then afterwards you can sort of follow up with more Daybreak effects. Her champion card is Morning Light. It gives allies +2/+2 this round, and on Daybreak, activate ally Daybreak effects at once. So it's slow, so it's not that great. It also buffs more potentially because of the Daybreak effects, so there is some neat synergy. Like for example, the 6-drop that we saw gets a bit better with Morning Light. Synergies like that might make Morning Light better than it looks, because normally this type of effect looks pretty bad, but it might be that there's enough payoff with the Daybreak synergies that this could actually be pretty good. Like imagine you have like a Leona in play and some other stuff. Suddenly you get to stun something, your entire board grows. Maybe you play the 6-drop and the 6-drop grows massively with Overwhelm and all that stuff. Maybe you draw a card from the 5-drop and so on and so forth. Also, since he draws Daybreak cards, you can draw Morning Light from that 5-drop, which means even if you might not want to put it in your deck because it's not quite good enough, you will have random access to it and making it randomly powerful and really annoying for your opponent to play around. So Card is kind of interesting. I am not sure if it's going to be good enough to end up in a deck in and of itself, especially as more of, say, a one-off or something. But it's a bit hard to say. Like, it could totally be that it is strong enough to make it, but 5-cost slow spells of this nature often aren't. Next we have Zenith Blade. It's a 3-cost slow spell. Sorry about that. It grants an ally +1/+2 and Overwhelm, and with Daybreak you draw a Zenith Blade. So basically you can chain all 3 of them. Like later in the game you can play the first, and if you play the second you don't get the third, or if you have something that, like the 5-drop out, that makes it day the entire time, you can actually chain them in the late game. The problem is though, like +1/+2 and Overwhelm at slow speed is super awkward, super underwhelming. I wish they maybe would have made this sort of a slow burst spell, the new like slow burst spell type card. That would have been at least a bit better, because costing 3 mana, costing an action, and being slow are like 3 pretty big deals. Sure, it virtually doesn't cost a card because you get another Zenith Blade, but the effect is so marginal. I have a hard time seeing this being good enough. Sure, there are like some cases where you can like make use of this, but it seems overall like a pretty weak card, and my guess would be it doesn't make it. 6 costs Sunburst, another slow spell. You deal 6 to a unit, and with Daybreak instead silence the unit and then deal 6 to it. This is actually pretty solid removal. It is reasonably expensive and it is slow, making it quite inflexible, but it seems interesting. I could see this ending up in some decks potentially, but could also be that it's just a bit too bad. It's kind of on the fence of being good enough or maybe falling by the wayside a bit. And last but not least, we have Guiding Touch, a 2-cost burst spell. Heal an ally or your Nexus for 2 and you draw a card. This is actually a pretty nice card. First of all, it's burst. Second of all, it generates virtual value by healing units, and then it replaces itself by actually drawing a card. So this is often a potential like 2-for-1. Obviously it's not +2 health, but it's heal 2, so the unit needs to have enough health to be damaged and already be damaged to give this value, but still this seems pretty good, especially with some of the beefier like Daybreak units and stuff like that, or just in like a like more defensive Taric deck and stuff like that. Cheap cantrips that also have a meaningful impact on the board are pretty strong, so this seems like a deceptively powerful card to me potentially. And the fact that it can also heal yourself so you don't die, basically being like a slightly weaker but cyclable health potion, is pretty big actually. This is a million times better than health potion, and health potion already is seeing play. So yeah, kind of an exciting card. So yeah, all in all, this batch looks okay. Leona looks decent, a bit underwhelming actually, like a bit unimpressive. But I mean, she stuns the strongest champion every turn. She's like kind of an easy 4-cost 4/6 a lot of the time on turn 4 or 5. Morning Light could see some play. Zenith Blade probably not. Sunburst could do something, and Guiding Touch actually seems pretty great. But yeah, all in all, a bit less impressive actually than the last batch, I would say. Most of the units from the last batch were actually like pretty good constructed, like bread and butter of these types of sort of Targon decks, while this batch seems yeah, a lot more filler other than like Leona and Guiding Touch. But also a bit too early to say. Like I said, we don't have the full picture, and I think people often jump the gun way too much on some of these cards when they don't have all the information, and the existence of a single card we don't know could change a lot of things of the stuff we already know. So wait and see. It's less than a week. It's 5 days till we get all the new cards, and I'm pretty excited and looking forward to it. Curious what we'll get tomorrow. Probably Diana if I had to bet, but let's see if that holds true. Anyway, that's it again for this batch of spoilers. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the new cards and my assessment of them. As usual, let's have some conversation and share your thoughts with me. Give me some feedback. And yeah, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button and subscribe down below. Turn on notification icon to not miss out on future content. And yeah, that's it again for this time. I'm your host, ManuS, and I thank you for watching. Bye.